Okay,
a
yeah.
very small, it's on a very small computer. I'm sorry.
Okay, if you keep that volume up, we'll be fine. All right, I'm about to open up a document. Hold on. And I'm about to share my screen. Okay, do you see my screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to go through this. I'm looking now at a document that's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. When you signed this document, you told me, Judge, I understand that if my attorney makes an agreement for me with the prosecutor, that's called the plea bargain. If you follow that plea agreement, Judge, if you follow that plea bargain, I understand I will not have a right to appeal in the future. Do you understand that? Sir, do you understand that? I'm not hearing a word. Mr. Almanza. Here we go. Maybe it wasn't there.
Maybe we lost them.
Okay. Mr. Almanza,
Yes, sir.
do you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to go over this. I think we must have lost you for a little bit. On my screen, there's a document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. And you have signed it. When you signed this document, you told me, Judge, I understand that if my attorney makes an agreement for me with the prosecutor, that's called a plea bargain. If you follow the plea bargain, I understand I will not have a right to appeal in the future. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the steps, let me go back just a little bit further. I'm now looking at a document that is entitled Consent to Video Conference Plea and Waiver, and you've signed this document as well. When you signed this document, you in effect told me, Judge, I understand that we can do this by video and then we don't have to do it in open court, and that's all right with me. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, now I'm looking at another document that's called a written waiver and consent to stipulations of testimony. Did you go over this document with your attorney? Did you and your attorney go over this document?
Yes, we have.
Did he explain it to you?
Yes, sir.
And you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Now you understand, and let me get this straight. You are the same Frank Almanza who in this cause number 2105001112 CRF, who's charged with the offense of assault on a public servant. Is that you?
Yes, sir.
Are there any enhancements in this case, Mr. English?
There's a single enhancement, Your Honor.
And are you proceeding with it or is it being
No,
waived?
Your Honor, the state would make a motion at this time to waive that enhancement.
Okay. There was an enhancement paragraph. The state is waiving it, means they're not going to go forward with that. So you're just charged now with a third-degree felony, okay? Instead of it being bumped up to a higher degree because of the enhancement. And for a third-degree felony, it's possible you can be punished anywhere from a minimum of 2 years in prison up to 10 years in prison. In addition, there's a fine anywhere from $0 up to $10,000. Do you understand what you're charged with and what the possible punishment could be in your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This document that's entitled a waiver, go back to it. Written waiver and consent to stipulations of testimony. This document contains all your rights in it. And by signing this document, you're basically giving up all your rights. Among the rights you're giving up the right to remain silent. You're giving up the right to have a jury trial. You're giving up the right to have the witnesses brought in open court. You're giving up the right to have your attorney ask them questions. That's called cross-examination. You understand those are among the many rights you're giving up.
I understand, sir.
Are you a citizen of this country?
Yes, sir.
So I've told you what you're charged with, what the possible punishment could be in your case. I've told you that you're basically giving up all your rights when you sign this waiver of rights document. Then to the offense of assault on a public servant, how do you plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Has anybody forced you to do this?
No, sir.
Besides any kind of plea bargain that your lawyer may have gotten for you, has anyone promised you anything in order to get you to do this?
No, sir.
You're doing this of your own free will.
Yes, sir.
Is there a plea bargain in this case? Can I ask the state to please recite it?
Yes, Your Honor. In exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty, the state is recommending 5 years deferred adjudication, community supervision with a fine of $1,000 and 100 hours community service restitution, with the defendant responsible for court costs and standard conditions as assigned by probation.
Is that your understanding of the plea bargain, Mr. Bland?
It is, Your Honor.
Do you agree to this then, Mr. Almanza?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Almanza, a deferred can be a good deal, or it can be a bad deal. The good deal is that if you successfully complete deferred, you can truthfully say that you were never convicted of this crime. The bad part of the deal is if you screw up and you're violated, you could be looking at the maximum 10 years in prison and the maximum $10,000 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And understanding that, do you still want to go forward with this?
Yes, sir.
So then, Mr. Almanza, the court having heard you plead guilty to this offense, the court on that plea finds that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I do not find you guilty. I instead defer or postpone any adjudication of this matter for 5 years, place you on probation for 5 years. I assess $1,000 fine plus court costs, make it a condition of your probation that you do 100, not 1,000, 100 hours of community service. You're to pay the standard supervisory fee. What is the standard supervisory fee in this case, Ms. Aldez?
$60 per month.
It's $60 per month supervisory fee. You have to report, I'm assuming monthly, unless you're told to report more often than that to the probation office, and not break any laws and not associate with any bad people, and basically stay out of trouble for the 5 years that you're on your deferred. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else I need to put on the record in this case for you, Mr. English?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Mr. Bland?
Judge, the only thing is, I believe on the copy of the probation judgment I was sent, they have the fine showing to be $2,000. It should be $1,000. It may have been corrected on an updated version, but
Mr. Valdez, can you correct that on the probation papers, make it 1,000 instead of 2,000?
Yes, Judge, as I was going over the judgment, I did catch that. I will correct it. I will also add the anger management on there, and I will submit it for your final signature, if that's okay with you, Honorable Judge.
So that was another condition, was that you go to an anger management course. Do you understand that, Mr. Almanza?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else I need to put on the record for you, Mr. English?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, then Mr. Almanza, do you need to go in the breakout room with him, Ms. Valdez?
No, Judge, I could see him over at the Frio County Jail. Or you know what? Yes, please put us in a breakout room.
Is that possible, Rachel? Can you do that for me?
And we can do it after court settings. It's fine.
Well, I mean, you guys,
He needs to report to you today, though, doesn't he, Ms. Valdez?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you have any holds, Mr. Almanza, that you are aware of?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then once you're released from jail.
okay, they're gonna put you in a breakout room to do all this if.
Yes, it's fine. Judge.
Okay, you're gonna be seeing a button that sends you to breakout room number 2, I think. All right, Mr. Almanza, you should see a button that sends you to breakout room 2. Okay. All right, now I'm going to see if I can sign this paperwork using my handy dandy Adobe Acrobat thing, and hopefully it will let me do that.
Rachel, I think we can go off of YouTube now.
Yeah.